WIBTA. If I stopped supporting my disabled father over his preferential treatment towards my siblings, I, 26 ME, have two sisters, 18 and 23, from the same mum and dad, 50s. When I was 16, my parents went through a messy divorce which resulted in my sisters staying with my mum, and I stayed with my dad. My dad is disabled and has been unable to work due to a long list of medical issues since I was 16. He has kidney failure and is currently on dialysis while waiting for a transplant. This has meant that I have been looking after him in a variety of caretaker ways for a decade now. Throughout this time, his contact with my two sisters has been minimal. He has in the past allowed my eldest sister to claim benefits that she was not entitled to by claiming to be a carer for my father amongst others. She has at no point in her life provided care for my dad. This caused many fights between my dad and I, as I felt he was allowing her to commit fraud just so he could feel like he was helping her. I was recently contacted by his doctor, who told me that my dad was no longer on the transplant list to receive the kidney transplant he needs. Apparently his health is now so poor that they don't know for sure if he'll survive general anesthetic for the op. I was told that a major factor for this was his poor diet, which was exacerbating his existing health issues. Hearing this, my wife and I decided to move back in with my dad to try and get him onto a healthier diet to hopefully prepare his body for the transplant he needs. After we moved in, I was going through his most recent letters when I discovered a letter informing him that my youngest sister had applied for a grant for young carers as a result of caring for him. My dad is lucky to see my sister once a month, let alone the 16 hours a week this grant requires. I confronted him, and he said he was just trying to help her out in any way he could. This again led to a massive fight, as currently me and my wife are the only family members supporting him. My sisters do nothing for him. They are both adults, and yet neither has lifted a single finger once to help him. And yet here he is again essentially committing fraud to help them out. We can't help but feel taken for granted and simply unappreciated. We do everything we possibly can for him, sacrifice our time, energy, and money to ensure he has a more comfortable life. But time and again, he chooses to focus his energy on helping my sisters cheat their way to funds and benefits they don't deserve. He's never once asked them to help him, so the burden of responsibility for his care rests entirely on our shoulders, despite the fact that of the three siblings, I am the only one not currently receiving any benefit related to his care. We are now at the point where we are considering pulling all our support, financial and physical, and leaving his care entirely to the two women who are actually benefiting from providing it. WIBTA for withdrawing support from my father? Update. I remembered this post as my dad's birthday recently passed and thought I might as well give an update, even though no one asked. In January 2023, my father passed away from complete kidney failure. It wasn't a surprise to me. His health had been in decline, and a transplant wasn't going to happen. The rest of the family, though, were shocked. The last time he spoke to anyone, I showed him the 7-week scan of my now 2-year-old son, his first and only grandchild. We'd rushed to get the earliest scan we could, knowing he didn't have much time. My son looked like a seahorse tadpole. He cried when I showed him, and we had a short talk about fatherhood before exhaustion took over. He fell asleep and never woke up. I asked him not to tell anyone since we were still early and didn't want to jinx it. He said, "I'll take it to the grave," and passed away 3 days later. He kept his word. I think seeing the scan and having that moment made him die happy. As for my sisters, they never changed. I let it go. I knew I couldn't change my dad, and he was on borrowed time. For his birthday that year, we rented a canal boat since he'd always wanted one. He crashed it almost immediately. They gave him less and less consideration, ignoring him completely on what turned out to be his last birthday. No visit, no call, not even a text. He was devastated and reduced contact with them, though he never stopped helping them financially. When they found out he was dying, they rushed to his side and stayed until he passed. But like before, it was too little, too late. He was already unconscious. They hadn't shown urgency when he was first admitted, only showing up when I told them he had chosen to end life support. I'd been told the day he was admitted over 2 weeks earlier that he might not survive. I believed it. I'd seen him in these situations before, and this time felt different. The rest of the family still thought he would recover and didn't. Treat him as a priority. Eventually, my dad asked me if he was dying. Everyone else had been giving him false hope, mostly for themselves, so I had to tell him, "Yes, you're going to die soon." That was not an easy conversation. He passed, surrounded by family who barely gave him their time when he was alive. My sisters definitely regret how they treated him, but it's too late. We were civil at the funeral but haven't spoken since. I scattered my share of his ashes at the end of the canal he never got to see. My sisters turned theirs into jewelry. Miss him every day, especially as his grandson looks so much like him. It's a shame things never got resolved with his daughters while he was alive, but I think he died a happy man, and that's enough for me.